Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. I'm Adam Marple.
And I'm Dr. Budi Miller.
And we're the co-artistic directors of the Theater of Others.
Our goal for this podcast is to build an international community of artists drawn together by a shared curiosity in what role theater has to play in confronting global crisis and creating new, thriving communities.
Each week, we'll peel back the curtain on our own views, debates, and speculations. We invite you to join us in these discussions, even criticize us if need be. Let's find the way forward together.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Budi.
How you going?
I'm well. How are you?
Getting a massage today.
Sounds lovely.
Oh my God. I mean, a massage, a bath, and a facial treatment. I'm going to the spa in Bali.
That sounds nice.
I'm pampering myself.
I miss the massage after the mountain moments because you feel like you've earned it. Like, not that you don't necessarily earn a massage, but there's times when how first world am I that I'm getting massage right now? But like after that mountain, oh yeah, that massage is a necessary thing.
Oh my God. You know what? Let's talk about climbing the mountain and earning it.
It's been a while.
Well, that was always the first. That was the first ensemble exercise that we did. In the training in Bali when we could climb the mountain. And it was like that was the equalizer for all of us. It's for our actors training with us to climb up that mountain and come down and understand that there's no difference between you and us. And the mountain that you have to climb is the same mountain that everyone else has to climb, and there's no separation. It's just as hard and difficult and revealing and vulnerable and painful and frustrating and exhausting. That's just what it is. So if you don't want to experience the value of climbing the mountain, don't climb the mountain.
Gonna kick your ass,
right?
It's gonna kick
That's
your
just
ass.
how it is.
Yeah,
that's how it is. And I say this with grace because climbing the mountain is not about fighting the mountain. It's one step at a time. It's resting, making your way, and being connected with the nature.
I fought that mountain the first time.
Well, yeah. Why don't we talk about this, Adam? Let's talk about your mountain, your first mountain climb.
Yeah. Well, okay. So first off, you were taking a new route. You had not gone this route before.
It was the first time we taken the longer route. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because you had taken it the year before, and it was like, easy peasy. And you were talking about how nice and lovely it was, and John and Carla were like, yeah, it was all great. And then we decided this next year to go a different route.
Yes.
And the guides were giving us eggs and oranges and water and all this stuff, and I was like, it sounds that easy. I don't need to carry all this stuff. And a lot of people felt the exact same way. And
oh God, we were so dehydrated.
We should have died on that mountain. They should have just left.
I know.
We were starting at what was it, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., something like that?
No, we started 11 p.m.
11 p.m. Yeah, okay. So we start because we wanted to make sunrise. And I kept on thinking this is a long journey to what Budi was describing, but okay, let's do it. And
I don't do math.
Yeah, and none of us were prepared for it. And 45 minutes into it, I tore my groin muscle. I could feel it. Like I was because we're not climbing, we're not hiking a mountain. We're hand over hand bouldering this mountain. And I felt.
See, that's the thing. People think that it's a hike. It's not a hike.
No,
it's a climb. You start with your feet, then you start climbing with your arms, and your legs, and your knees, and your soul, and your spirit.
Yeah. And 45 minutes into it, I felt, ooh, that's a tweak. Good thing this is not a long journey. This could get hurty. It's getting really dangerous. And it did. We all very quickly learned that this was a very long hike.
How old were you at the time, Adam?
Oh, who's that?
Oh, hi, Yao.
Wow. The gods have come in. Who's that, Adam Marple?
That's Yao. That's our favorite.
Oh,
Yeah, that's our favorite middle child.
Yeah, drinking his AG1 or something. What are you doing?
it's just
Introduce
vegetables.
Yao again.
Yeah, welcome back to the podcast. Yao's been on the podcast a couple times
And on the
before,
mountain.
and on the mountain as
Once.
well.
Once.
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy New Year,
Yeah.
Yao.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
I was 32, 33, somewhere around there. It was 2012, 2013, something like that. Yeah. And not ready
Okay,
for it.
okay. Let's talk about our first. Let's talk about the mountain since we've all climbed. Okay, Adam, how many times did you climb Mount Agung?
3 times.
Yao, how many times did you climb Mount Agung?
Sadly, only once.
Oh yes, that's right. Yao was in his tourist phase.
Once to the summit and once somewhere else.
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
did you get
Yao was
lost in the
in.
mountain?
Sorry?
Did you get lost or something? What do you mean?
No, Budi and I tried some back way.
Oh yeah. So you've done Agung twice. Well, that's definitely a second time. That was you got Yao got the bespoke journey. We can talk about that too, Yao. And I have climbed Mount Agung 17 times. And
Yes.
for you listeners, you can no longer climb it. The mayor
Yeah.
of Bali says no Westerners, no non-Balinese are able to climb Mount Agung. Do not climb on it. Do not go onto it. Don't go to Bali and have a have someone in a tourism something and say that they'll take you up the mountain. You are not allowed on the mountain. Do not climb the mountain. Do turn around. Do not pass go. This is the conversation of days of
Past.
yore.
Exactly. We're speaking of an experience that you'll never get to have.
Yes, Bali, the Mount Agung is the most sacred landmass in Bali. All temples face Mount Agung. Do not risk your life disrespecting the gods.
Yeah, and we disrespected it on that first trip. That's for sure.
We didn't disrespect it.
Yeah, we
didn't disrespect
did.
it.
We did. Do you remember us stopping?
We
and
didn't
us?
disrespect it. We were with the priest.
Yes, I know, but remember we heard all those shouts and those yells, and they said the ghosts are here. Remember they were
No,
concerned.
it wasn't the ghost. It was the spirit of the mountain. We
Yeah,
didn't
angry at
respect
us.
it. Disrespect it. No, disrespecting it is not is climbing the mountain without a priest. Disrespecting it is not stopping at every temple on the way. Disrespecting it is eating pork before you go. Disrespecting it is climbing it when you're on menstruation. We were not disrespecting it. We were
Okay,
in
well,
our egos.
we weren't respecting it. We weren't disrespecting it, but we certainly weren't respecting it either. And those lovely guides ran down the mountain to get us water and ran back up several
All I have to
times.
say is when I went down that mountain, I was so angry. And that's what Mount Agung is. Mount Agung meets your ego.
Yeah,
I thought that we were going to have the same exact climb. It wasn't the same exact climb. It was longer. Ryan Tawan said, "Take the longer trip. You can do it." I said, "Okay, well, we take the longer trip." It was completely. It was like literally 3 times longer. And
it
that
was.
was and that was the day I met my teacher, Manku. And I was so angry. I was so angry. And I was angry at Tawan for making us take that long trip. I was angry that the group got divided because last time we all climbed up together and came down together. So I wanted us to all be together and come down together. My ego was all over the place. And then we were all divided. I didn't know if anybody was going to make it down.
It was
Was Adam was
19 hours.
being carried down.
Yeah, it was
It was a
19
mess.
hours. 19 hours.
It was a
And
mess.
the group was in 3 sections.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Chad was basically carrying me down by that point. It was, and we would get down and there would still be a group that was at least 4 hours behind. It was now, we had gotten up there, we had missed the sunrise, and it was getting dark. It was dark again. It was getting nighttime again the next day. It was a
Holy
mess.
It was a
shit.
mess. It was a
Yeah.
mess. And then we had the work. Adam went back to Singapore,
Yeah.
and then we began the work. And this is when we used to do the work at Purnati Yayasan Bali Purnati, and we were at the pavilion working and training. and I saw this spirit come into the room, and it was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, we're just here training," and then it left. And I was like, that was wild. And then we get a phone call that Manku, the priest of the mountain, who uh, um, took us up, said that we had forgotten our first aid kit. And he drove on his motorbike all the way down from Basaki Temple, all the way down to Batuan to bring us the first aid kit. And then he also brought us fruit from Montagung to eat. And I was so bitter and angry through the whole for the whole experience. And then that act of kindness like broke me. And then and so I asked him what was that spirit, and he said, "Oh, that was the spirit of Mount Gung. Because when we were on top of the mountain, I told the mountain that you were having a workshop and to bless it, and so Mount Gung came down to see what you were up to and to bless it." And I was like, and previous to this trip, I was in India and I was told that my teacher was going to come. And when they were there, I'd recognize them. And I recognized Manku as my teacher. I said, I was told that when my teacher comes, that I would recognize them, and I believe it's you. May I study with you? And he said, yes. He's like, I knew this would happen because I dreamed about this before I came. And now the rest is history. We discovered that my incarnation is a Manku, a priest of Bali, and the reason why I reincarnated outside of Bali is to bring people to Bali and heal their souls. Just recently went to Basaki Temple as a Manku um, with my teacher Manku and our group. So it's one of those things of like, even when it hurts the way it's supposed to hurt for you in your life. You
Mm-hmm.
have to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That trip was that trip was something else. Yeah.
And it is life or death. Like people die on that people fall and die. They die on that mountain. It's not like, oh, we climb up and everything's safe, though. You have to respect it. It's life or death. Like really good acting, life or death.
Yeah.
In life.
And yeah, it's like the what and that was why it was one of our greatest ensemble exercises. Everyone was changed.
Yeah.
Everyone was changed.
We
Everyone
gotta
met
find a way to do it
themselves.
again.
Yeah.
Well, that
Let's do something
we
like that
had different
again.
versions. Yeah, we have different versions of it now with different types of provocations. I don't. The work itself has gotten so deep
That's true.
that the mountain has become that was the external force that people had to break through is the mountain that we go inwards, the cavernous
Yeah. Yeah.
stories that we unpack inwardly in the
Yeah.
work now, and also the stamina and duration of how we train.
Yeah. Yeah. Was your most recent trip, uh, was that the longest that you've done so far?
No,
Days?
I've done month-long workshops. Yeah, in the old days we used to do a whole month.
Nice.
Yeah, we used to do a whole month, and we would fly together on the plane. It was a whole thing. Yeah,
I'm really craving that. I'm really craving like a month. There's some things that can be achieved in 3 days. There's something can be achieved in 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, and then there's like a month. And I think I'm really craving a month.
yeah. Well, we're gonna be do put that in the back burner, baby.
That's why I'm saying it. That's why I'm saying it. I'm inviting you.
Ah! Thank you for the invitation. Received. There are things in the works that we can't talk about here. It's an NDA, but there are things. Stay tuned, everyone, to the Theater Brothers website. Go to bootymiller.com and you'll understand what's happening. But I think this is a great segue to what we wanted to talk about. Adam, what are we going to talk about?
Well, I guess we're talking about grad school? Is that what we're doing? Is we're talking about
Grad school
applying and
auditions.
auditioning? Yeah.
Yeah. The mountain of
The mountain of grad
grad,
school.
the climb to grad school.
Yeah. It is a
Ain't no
mountain itself.
mountain high enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because tis the season. Tis the season. And I
It is
think it's a
truly the
great
season.
opportunity for us to chat around things that we know a lot of stuff about, and a lot of people that are trying to figure out what this thing is.
Hmm.
We can actually have a little forum here with the three of us talking about grad school. So let's talk about our relationship to grad school. Let's start with you, Adam Marple.
Yeah.
Adam Christopher Marple. What's your
Yeah. Me.
relationship to grad school?
I went to it. Uh, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Um, Truly helped me define myself as an artist. Um, I would not be, we would not be talking here today if I had not gone to grad school because going to Singapore was led directly out of that decision, and that's where we met. So so many relationships and so many friendships and so many artistic happenings came out of that. So I absolutely think it was the best thing that I had ever done. Um, and I did that as soon as I moved to New York. Um, I found myself in a situation. I was working at NYU grad acting. I was a stage manager, helping colleagues, friends who were stage managing other projects, and they needed an ASM, and I just wanted to be in the room. I wasn't thinking about grad school at that point. But watching the grad actors work, a friend of mine said, "Hey, Columbia directors need an ASM if you want to come up and work on something." I said, "Sure, yeah, whatever." And that's where I'd already met Anne Bogart, and so to be back in the room with her, where she was helping the directors, giving the feedback, it was really cool. And I thought that's a neat process I would like to be a part of. So within a year of moving to New York, I was already applying to Columbia, and the rest is kind of the history of that.
How did
And
you apply? What was the process? How did you prepare yourself for
man,
directors? How do
I
directors
was
apply?
well. This is a very unique process, Columbia's process. But directors need a portfolio of your work, pictures, video, website now more than ever. And I think they may
Really?
have, yeah, yeah, yeah. They want to see the work. They want to see as much of the work as possible. I created this was I still can't believe I got in. I created a like a montage video because um I had no recordings of my work at that point. I only had pictures, but I had a lot of sound design. So I put a lot of my pictures to the sound design that I had from those shows, and I made like a 20-minute video. But looking back on it, because I still have a copy of it somewhere,
Well, I
my
want to
God,
see it, Adam.
Me
oh,
too.
it's so bad. It's
Come on.
I
so
want to see
Come
it.
on.
amateurish.
I want to
It's
see it.
so amateurish and awful and gross, and I hate it. And again, I can't
Oh.
believe I can't believe they let me in. Um, I think I had to write an essay. I think that's a part of it as well. But the most important part was the audition itself.
Hmm.
We and I don't want to talk too much about it because this is us who have gotten in know this is a really important thing. But you're called in. They're not going to do any. I don't know if they do this now, but there weren't any online auditions for directors. You have to be there in New York City, and you have to spend a weekend. You come in on a Friday, you leave on a Sunday, and when I say leave, I mean like you're kind of locked in, and then you leave. So like you have to be there those 3 days, and you're making work with those other people. And there were 60 of us, I think,
Wow.
and yeah, again, I don't want to talk about it too much, but you are working collaboratively with your competition.
Hmm.
So you've got to simultaneously make them look amazing, but not too amazing because you don't want them to get in. But yeah, and I was waitlisted. I was waitlisted, and I mean, I still have friends from that audition, friends that didn't get into Columbia because it would bonded us because it was such trial by fire, all of us. that I was still friends with them. And one of those friends that I made that weekend, he knew that I'd gotten waitlisted, and he said, I decided to go to Temple instead, so I'm going to let them know, which should free up your spot. And, it's like, oh, how deep on that wait list am I? But turns out I was the next one on there. So that's how I got in. And I got in with my partner. So my partner and I both, Anne told us that we were the only ones that had gotten in because we had worked so well together to make each other look good and didn't kind of think about, handicapping the other person as much. Not that everybody else is handicapping their partner, but we both got in. It was a really kind of a testament to how we are. And then I proceeded to do the next 3 years, the most grueling, terrifying, hard thing I've ever done in my life that I would do in a heartbeat all over again.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
Tell us
Grad
about
school.
grad school. How'd you get in? What was it? This is a preliminary question so that people know your relationship to grad school from your experience.
Okay.
And what type of grad school you went to?
I auditioned and was accepted into the Yale School of Drama. And
As a what?
As an actor. I auditioned and was accepted into the Yale School of Drama as an actor.
Did you? I don't mean to interrupt because I didn't apply anywhere else. Did you apply anywhere else?
I applied to Juilliard. Yeah, I applied to Juilliard.
Made callbacks for both.
I made two final callbacks for Juilliard. But by the time I was at final callbacks for Juilliard, I'd been accepted to Yale, and I think they knew it. That's my theory.
No, they do. They talk to each other.
Yeah. And I graduated from, sorry?
It's a community. We talk to each other.
Yeah. And I graduated from the David Geffen School of Drama at Yale, which is an important distinction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about grad school. How did I hear about grad school? I heard about grad school from Budi. I can't remember what year. I think it was like 2016. And he brought Walton Wilson into the rooms at LaSalle
in
Singapore. And he was like, you guys want to know about grad school? We hadn't really thought about it. I didn't know that there was a school at Yale besides the fact that Edward Norton had been to Yale. He didn't even go to YSD. He was just an undergrad there. And I met Walton there, and Walton did like a little warm up, and we did some monologues in front of him, and I didn't really remember thinking too much about it, except that there was this, kind of like marine looking guy who was like warming up with us and walking around kind of barefoot and had a crazy voice. So I was just like, okay, cool. That's how they grow them over there.
Walton Wilson, by the way, was on the podcast last year. So listeners, you can go and listen to Walton and his big voice and talking about
Walton Wilson. Very open pharynx. And he was head of acting at Yale at the time, and also head of acting at Yale when I auditioned. And then I decided to audition, or a number of factors helped me decide to audition, but I basically,
What were the factors?
I was extremely unhappy with my career in Singapore. And
so you had a career.
Yes, I did. I had a career in Singapore. And I was really...
Yes, you were one of the most sought after actors in Singapore. You were their ingenue.
Correct. I was their ingenue, Ellis Taylor. And
that's a side note. Ingenue Ellis Taylor, the best actor on the planet today.
Did you see Nickel Boys?
I heard it was incredible. I haven't seen it yet, but
I need to see Nickel Boys.
Extraordinary, hands down. Everyone, you need to try to be ingenue.
What should we watch?
If you can do what ingenue can do, you can act.
What should we watch?
You know what? Actually, my favorite is watching her transformation in Lovecraft. Her transformation in Lovecraft blew me away. I didn't recognize her. Like Well, I don't want to ruin I don't want to just watch the transformation. I don't want to spoil alert.
It's too late. Yeah, I had a lot of I was cast a lot. I tell you that. I was cast a lot in Singapore, and often in like, young leading roles. And that did not. I was not happy, in spite of all the work that I was getting, and I felt like I was kind of plateauing as an actor. And I think that that could be in part due to the amount of curiosity and personal agency that I was trained with at LaSalle, both as an actor and as a theater maker, to constantly be investigating craft and constantly be investigating skill, and to ask myself to expand beyond those boundaries, as just a discipline, really.
And who were you training with at LaSalle that was so impactful for you?
Well, there was there was Elizabeth DeRosa, uh,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and there
Friend of
was
the pod, Dr.
Licia,
Elizabeth DeRosa.
Dr. Elizabeth DeRosa. There was Licia. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there was Wan Qing.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? We had Stefanos Rassios, Edith Podesta, Aubrey Mellor,
Mm-hmm.
Adam Marple,
He
and
was there.
Budi Miller, pre-doctor.
Doctor.
Actually, yeah, yes, Dr. Budi Miller. Dr. Budi Miller.
Yes, yes. So
Um,
a dream team. Look at like the roster of you were essentially were getting an impeccable degree because you got to LaSalle when we were like you couldn't touch us with how blazingly hot we were. You know.
no,
I would argue that we were almost a grad school program.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
definitely
Definitely.
making y'all do a lot of things that undergrad kids aren't
totally.
Yeah. We
normally
pushed you
doing.
hard. Y'all were rehearsing till 11 until I
Yeah,
got in
no,
trouble.
which is why, when I think I was talking to you earlier, Budi, you were saying that like, the administrative team over at your workshop was like, oh, we don't need to go till 11. I was like, go to 11. Train from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. because it'll be fun. It'll make you a better
Yeah.
artist, but it'll be
Yeah.
super fun. It'll be
Exactly.
super fun, and you'll know your body can do it, and you'll know your imagination can do it. And there's an
Exactly.
amazing thing that happens when you just have no more fucks to give.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing, and that's the kind of body and that's the kind of discipline and endurance that you need to endure the spaces that we're in. Um,
So
I think it
then
was also, sorry.
so continue with the factors
Yeah,
that
and
were
so like, after like 3 years, full on years of like working from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. and doing all kinds of things, then it's just kind of like, okay, and now you're an actor. And now you're a highly sought after actor, but the acting you're doing is not necessarily helping me fire on all those cylinders. And I was disempowered as a theater maker as well because I was being treated only as an actor, and maybe even sometimes as a collaborator. And because of I think because of also my nationality, I couldn't legally take on all the work that I wanted, get funding, get space, and all those things. Singapore, I think it's like any other country. It's hard to get money if you're not from there, to do things on your own. And so I was like, man, like, like I felt like I was building a house and building a home before I really wanted to, and I wanted to grow more. And I knew that I wasn't nearly half as good enough as an actor as I thought I could be. And I knew that there was a ceiling somewhere else that was way higher. Um, and I talked to Budi about it,
like
and
a
he was like
mountain.
a mountain. And Budi was like, go to grad school. And I was like, boop, light switch, there we go. Um,
I said it in a different way though.
no, you said, finally, you're ready to listen to me after all these years. After I basically gave you Walton in 2016. It was like 2018 or something like that.
I think when you told me, I was just like, well, it's about time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we both knew it was inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was no surprise when you said that. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were at a crossroads. You were in your Saturn return. You were unhappy with where the current state of your life was, and I was like, well, you have a choice. I was like, spring chicken. You've got a window here. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay and keep doing the same stuff, or do you want to push yourself? Okay, let's get serious. And we trained for a year, right? Trained for a year. Came to Bali, trained in Bali. That's and then you were in a place where it wasn't about grad school. It was about your art.
Yeah. It really wasn't about grad school. It was about my art. That's a great way of phrasing it.
Yeah, I got a lot of students right now interested in grad school, and I keep on going like, what's the rush? You're just finishing school and you want to do school. You don't go to grad school for school. You go to grad school for your art. You go to grad school
Yeah.
because you realize there's something missing in your artistry that you need more time investigating. At 22, I don't think you know what that is. So take a couple years off, go do some stuff, and then come back and go, oh, I understand what it is. Yeah. You need that
Well, I
time
think
off.
that's a love that you had a career, like, and it was time to upskill. You know, you went out there, used the training that you had, and made a life for it yourself as an artist, right? That's your journey. There are people that are, come from like marketing degrees that never got to be on stage, but they have that special something that is ready to work, and they also go to grad school. So it's there's no one path into the journey up the mountain.
There's also something I want to say about that, and this is something that I've been realizing recently, is that even even in that even in that investigation and even with that motivation going into it, there was something else that kind of snuck its way in. And um, I've had a chance to think about that recently. Um, and and I think the second thing that snuck its way in is like after I graduate grad school, I'm gonna be set.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be secure.
Right.
I'm gonna be like Jonathan Majors, and I'm gonna be like Moses Ingram, and I'm gonna be like Lupita Nyong'o because they're
Hmm.
only 5 years ahead of me. We're
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
gonna be in the same pedigree. We're all just
Hmm.
everything, all of that milk in me is gonna be whipped into butter,
Hmm.
turned into cream,
Hmm.
and I am going to be set.
Hmm.
And I graduated, and I don't think that ever happens for anybody.
No.
I don't think that ever happens for anybody, and certainly not for us when we had the pandemic happen in the middle of school.
Mm.
And then the school transitions into this new thing. Walton leaves, Tamala comes in, new energy,
We love us some
new
Tamala. We
new
love us some
brain.
Tamala.
Oh yes. And then the strikes happen, and then more strikes happen, and then
But this is the other thing, yeah. You know who did Moses Ingram?
Moses Ingram.
Moses Ingram.
Yeah, Moses Ingram.
You know
Jonathan
who
Majors
did
did Jonathan
Lupita?
Majors. Lupita.
Lupita did Lupita.
Yeah.
Basta.
Yeah. But see, and I think, but that's the wool that gets pulled, that we pull over our eyes when we look at these places, is that I don't have this in me. Question
Mm.
mark.
Mm.
Those people have that in them.
Mm-hmm.
Statement. They all went to this place. Mentally, it's really hard to separate that logic and to look and to do the housekeeping that is necessary to not have that correlation in your head. Because correlation causation, two different things. And Walton Wilson always says this. He says, don't compare your insides to somebody else's outsides.
Come on now.
He
Come on,
always
Walton.
says that.
Yeah.
Always says that. And that's the
Come on,
truth. And no
Walton.
matter how many times you hear that, no matter how much meditation juju you've done, if you haven't done the housekeeping, you're going to be comparing your insides to somebody else's outsides.
Amen, Walton Wilson. Come on now. But this is the other thing. And and my relationship to grad school is I didn't go, everyone. Dr. Budi Miller didn't go to grad school because Dr. Budi Miller couldn't afford grad school because he went to NYU undergrad and it took all of his money and it took me till I was 45 years old to pay for it. So I made my life and my career my grad school and then got a PhD. But I work in those spaces and they're my colleagues and I've been yeah, I'm qualified to speak on this and I've coached people into grad school and I have conversations with my colleagues who run these places and all the things that happen in those rooms. But what is the quintessential thing is when I coach somebody, I coach them for their life as an artist. I don't coach them for grad school. Like it's your life as an artist, and grad school auditions happen to be on the way.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is with the exercise of this grad school is what is your willingness to go bigger than you ever have in your truth? How big is your truth? If your truth is if I don't get what I want, then it's a sad day, as opposed to if I don't get what I want, I'm going to burn this house down. There is an element of audacity and boldness to be an animal in the room within the container of your artistic process, language, character, given circumstance, whatever you want to call it. That's what, like, you have to light the fire in the room. You can't come in and set up and then keep hitting the flint trying to start a fire. You have to light the fire in the room, and the way you light the fire in the room is you boldly be your perspective in this space. And so one of the challenges is a lot of young actors that go into these spaces, they choose the two deadly choices. The first one is victim. No character in any play or any film or any TV show is a victim. They don't believe themselves to be victims. Even when they say they're a victim, they're not a victim. It's the actor's point of view about the character put on top of the character saying, oh, I'm a victim, so I need to act victimization. Bad choice. The second one is stoic. I am too great to experience this, and I'm a king and I'm not going to experience this. Once again, stoicism turns off your listening, turns off your heart, clouds your eyes, locks your voice, stiffens your butt, legs, and you become a stick.
Yeah.
And it's it's those spaces where we and this is why I train you for this, because I train you to be in those really uncomfortable places. Chris Bates talks about actors love to bring in the best part of themselves, but the most interesting are the parts that they don't want us to see. And having the courage, because vulnerability, as Brene Brown says, vulnerability sounds like courage. Sounds like, what does it sound like? Truth and feels like courage. Sounds like truth and feels like courage. I say it looks like truth because as actors we're constantly dealing with the images. It looks like truth. What are you seeing? Looks like truth. Feels like courage. I'm gonna be inside of this. I'm gonna be inside of this. That's vulnerability. It's not something. Vulnerability is not performative. It's connected to truth. And if you're unwilling to look at the truth, Everyone's bullshit meter goes off, including yours. So why would somebody, especially a grad school that's going to give you a free ride, why would somebody pay for your education to develop your bullshit and want to sit in a room with you for 3, 4 years while you refuse to do the basic principle of vulnerable presence through a given circumstance and having a good time with it, playing with it in a room with strangers?
So
Tell the truth to yourself.
I'm shadowing Chris as a to apprentice to learn
Christopher
from
Bays,
him.
the famous clown teacher, most famous clown teacher of the world, most respected clown teacher on the planet.
To be a clown teacher. One of the things he really that he said recently is he said it's like everybody's got impulses, and you have impulses flowing through you, but how can you work from impulses that aren't based on fear?
Yes.
And that shook me, because
Yes.
yeah, uh, sure you got impulses, sure, and your nervous system is there in front of people, and in front of people, whether you're in the room outside waiting to be auditioned or whether you're at a job interview, and you can make make the bold choice. But how do you know that that's not an impulse that's coming from fear? And how do you train? How do you practice? How do you get clear with yourself?
You know how you do that is you surround yourself with those artists that you respect and whose work you want to emulate, the teachers that are teaching the kind of actors that you love, and you trust them. You
Yeah,
put
I've been thinking
the
about that.
you are vulnerable with them. You don't know it all.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot. I've been thinking about the community of artists, and I'm in New York City, but it's like the artists. I don't know, maybe the artists that I respect the most and want to be around the most, they're all working. You
Boom,
know?
bada boom. And so then you do what beautiful Keisha J. Hey Keisha J, I hope you're listening to this podcast right now. You know I love you, girl. Keisha J was just here for Bali. She spent three weeks with me. She came and did Chris Bays and Micah Espinoza workshop, the advanced training workshop, and then I hijacked her and said you have to stay at the visit. Keisha J, she's a comedian, New Yorker, and she's an amazing, amazing human and artist and actor. And Keisha J, she's like, I didn't go to school, but I look at all the actors that I love, and I look at who they trained with, and I find their teachers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And we're just so excited to have her in the room because she's brilliant. And it's a I think what it is about getting into grad school is that's just a window into your process as an artist. You train, you do the things it takes, the assignment that they've given you, and you use it as a litmus of what work that you need to be doing.
Mm, mm.
And it's like, and I think that the other thing is that when you go into these rooms, it's like it's your time. What are you going to investigate? Take your time. Don't go until it's time to go. You pay for the slot, so use it. So many
My
people
thing,
start before they need to. Whitney talks about this.
I'm so curious. I'm so curious about the person that I present myself as an artist to people who I haven't met yet, and the person that I present myself like to you guys. Like you guys know every inch of me, you know. And so I don't have any reservations about the artistic conversations that I have with you. But I'll be really candid. I had a so last 2023 when I was graduating, there was an agent, and we were having a conversation, and he asked me, so like, what are you passionate about? He's like, and I was like, well, I'm really passionate about making theater, and I'm really passionate about directing, and the types of characters that I'm interested in playing. Like, I don't think like Hollywood is really interested in that, that kind of styles, like the kind of acting I like to do is like really theatrical. So really what I want to do is like, I want to use the TV and the film and stuff, etc., to get, to make money. But really that's not where my passion is. That's the stuff that I'm going to do. But where my passion is mostly like theater making stuff. And he was like, so why are we having this conversation? And I was like, because you need actors. And he's like, okay, thank you. It was really lovely to meet you. End of conversation. And I was like, huh. Like I felt like I was really genuine with this person. I introduced myself as an artist and I talked about the things that I want. And I was hoping that by putting my full ass out there, somebody would be like, hey, I got one of those too, you know? And I would find somebody to hold hold my ass with me, you know. But
I'll
that's
hold your
not
ass,
always
yo.
true.
Such a
Thank you,
nice
and you
ass.
have. So can you guys talk about that? Because that's also what's so interesting about this authenticity and vulnerability and bring your truest self language in these spaces. It's just like, what if it's not? What if that's not what it?
Well, would
Well,
you have rather
go
lied
ahead,
and
Adam.
would you have rather lied and said what you thought that he wanted to hear and then be in that situation being untrue to yourself?
Well, after that, I did,
I wanted the
Well,
and
job
I
first.
continued to.
but it just wasn't a fit. It wasn't a match. This is a huge motherfucking world, y'all. And it's a huge industry, and it opens up even more now. It's even bigger than it was when Adam and I were going to school.
Yeah.
It's like it just wasn't a match. You've been on dates before that like this didn't fit, And why would you sacrifice your authenticity for someone who doesn't see you? Because you're not going to get work anyway. Because they're going to be putting you up for stuff that you don't want to do. That's
Right,
not an
exactly.
alignment for your artistry. And the other thing is, what is yours will be yours. So stop suffering about trying to get something because you already have something quite deeply beautiful inside of yourself. Whatever that is, check it out and then make it bigger. That's all. That's all a good audition is. What's going on? Make it bigger and exciting for all of us to share. That's it. That is literally it. And so many people feel like I've got to pull an image from here. I've got to do this. I got that's all, and it's all external. Well, as long as you have an external world have more value than your internal life and your internal world, you will always be secondary, as Walter Wilson said.
You can't hack your way into grad school.
No, no, no one cares about your vision board.
Your collage with some music in the background.
Your collage with some music in the back. It's like it makes me think of the Erica Badu song. Bag a lady, you got all them bags. How you gonna run like that? It's like you got all these bags. Come in. It's like coming free, play, and then be done with it. Go on and have your life. Enjoy that you did because the exercise for actors for grad school is actually a really fun exercise. You get to learn 4 monologues that you love and work really deeply with them and sing a song you love.
There's also no better way to confront your demons than the audition process.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We
because
don't
that's
often.
the world. That's how people book work. You want to work as an actor? That's how you do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You audition or you fund it yourself.
I argue that's the actor's job. Day job actually is just auditioning.
Yeah.
It
Your
is
job
the
your
actor's
job is
day job.
auditioning. Your
Yeah,
job is auditioning, and then every once in a while you do a project.
Yeah.
I don't know what
This
that
much
is.
acting,
Yeah, yeah,
this much auditioning,
yeah, yeah.
this
yeah,
much everything else.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. And that's where Bali comes in so beautifully because the Bali we have the best artists on the planet, the most extraordinary dancers, musicians, performers, actors on the planet. And they do it because it's a part of their culture. And you have to make art because that's what it is to be a human being. And then you go off and do your other job. No one experience is more valuable than the other, except for when you're making art, it's for God. So you got to put your extra best inside there. And the extra best is coming from within, as they believe it's the God within. Putu Budi, my brother here, who is the manager of our work center, and he dances and he channels the gods that he's dancing and lets them move his body.
I'm so jealous you got to see that.
So it's your life as an artist in the window of an audition. That's it.
But I think there's also something uniquely American about making your job your life
Yeah,
and
that's
making
true.
your passion your job your life.
Yeah, that's true.
That then
That's true.
collects all of these energies and life streams and potentialities and dreams and visions into one thing and
Yeah,
makes
that's
it
true.
so fucking live or die, you
Yeah,
know?
that's why I didn't fit there. That's why I left because I was more than what they were trying to. That was more than the little box that they could see me in as a teacher, as an artist. You know, I'm much bigger, and this is why I travel the world and spread my wares everywhere because I'm much bigger than that little small spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, before we go on break, I want to hear one advice you want to give to the students that are auditioning this week because they're auditioning this week. This is the season. One word of advice from each of you. Adam.
Ugh. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Your career is going to be long. Like, if it's not happening right now, it's not the end of the world. And also, it's not, maybe it's not the right time. You're not the right you. Just, yeah, you're not the right you. I think sometimes is realizing that, oh, I've not achieved peak Adam, or the Adam that needs to enter grad school at this moment. I still have a
Hmm.
lesson to learn.
When was Peak
Hmm.
Adam? Did we miss Peak Adam?
No, I think LaSalle was peak Adam. I think coming straight out of Columbia and like really defining and refining my artistry, those 9 years, yeah, that was peak Adam. It's all just been slowly downhill ever since then. It's been trying to get back to that the entire time.
So now we have Madam Web Adam.
Oh God, I hope not. At least
Well,
give me
that's
like
really
a
great because Peak Adam
Craven
wasn't in grad
Morbius.
school. I love that. Peak Adam wasn't even in grad school.
No, no,
And
no.
so
Of
many
course
people
not.
think that they've got to be a perfect polished,
Oh God, no.
stone before they get into before they get into the room. No
I
one's interested in that.
sucked. I sucked. My first year, I'd say at least my first year, I was the worst one in class, hands down. My colleagues would tell you that as well, and I'd be there as well. It just, I was beating my head against the wall, and then something clicked, and then I wasn't the greatest one in class, but it clicked, and then coming out of it, I went straight into LaSalle, and then I was starting to apply and use you all as guinea pigs every single day, and like, yep, got it. I know what it is, and this is the trajectory that I've been on ever since. So yeah, I was I should have been waitlisted, honestly. I'm lucky that I got in. I'm lucky that they saw something 2 years ahead of time. Yeah.
Fantastic. What's your advice, Yao?
Man, I want to take Adam's. I'll just say it a
Cannot la.
different way. I'll just say it a different way. The road goes on forever. The journey never ends. It never ends. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low. And if you have even an ounce of grit in you, that's enough. But it's not going to be fun. It can be beautiful, but it's not always going to be fun. So
My advice.
whatever you
Go
have
ahead,
to
Neil.
push you through all of that has to be bigger and more expansive, and you're gonna have to make friends with that, even if it is megalomania. You're gonna have to make friends with that.
Mm-hmm. Mine is plain and simple. Tell the truth. Is this for me, or is it not for me? And that's just fine. And the way you do that is after you do your work, every single time you do your work, not just at an audition, every single time you do the work, you say, what I learned. What did I learn from that time, that round? What was working? What was working? I got that. I learned this from Steve Wong. We don't focus on what's not working. Why would you focus on what's not working? You know, what's working? And if it's not, and if you can't find anything, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
You can leave the audition. Okay, what did I learn? What was working? Okay, I'm going to grow from that. If you can't find anything, then it's not for you. Maybe, possibly. The worst audition I ever had in my entire life was an opening into my entire life now, because I left that audition going, "What the hell happened there?" I know I'm not a bad actor, but wow, who was that creature in there? I didn't even look like an actor. What was that? And because I knew my own value, and I knew what I was just an artist and an actor, and I knew that I could do it. I started to unpack what was happening to me neurologically, and that's the linchpin into all the stuff that I do, from coaching Michelle Williams at Brokeback Mountain, to getting a PhD, to building curriculum for almost 25 years in Indonesia, working with the Balinese. That one bad audition opened up my entire life that I'm living right now. So, what did you learn, and what's working, and what happened? That's it. That's what artists do. That's what we do. That's how we do it. It's not for the accolades. It's not for, oh, you're great. Oh, you have value. You have worth. Tell the truth. And the truth may be, I'm doing this because I don't like myself, and I want someone to tell me they like me. You got to like yourself first, but
Yeah.
that's not what that's not what it is to be an artist. It's not to get someone to like you, to love you. That's your own work. That's your work. And no grad school could ever do that for you. And it's unfair to put that on anyone in grad school, or your classmates,
They
or your
didn't.
colleagues, or your
They
lovers, or
wouldn't.
your
I
friends.
asked them to. I asked all of them. Nobody would. Not even the nice ones.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break and come back with some provocations.
Yep. Indeed.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, non binary conforming individuals, you are listening to the stereo sounds of my child, JDB. Jack D for Burpster. grad school, Jack? Jack must have went. No, Jack didn't go to grad school.
Jack doesn't.
Jack didn't go to grad school, and he's the producer of this podcast. Wow, Jack. Okay, boys, we're at provocations. Adam, can you please explain to Monsieur Yao what a provocation is?
Yeah, you've done this before. We're just leaving a question or a thought or a provocation to our audience to try out, be actively involved in something that we're thinking about or working on. So, as it is grad school season, what's the provocation for you post grad school? Thinking back to your audition time, your preparation for that.
Yeah. What is something that you would spend 20 years doing, even if you got no success in it?
That's a good provocation.
20 years. If you've hit 20 years in your life, think about where you were 20 years ago, and just think how much time has passed. Think how many persons you've been, how many regime changes there's been, how many technological changes there's been.
God.
And imagine yourself pursuing the same thing for 20 years.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Adam Marple.
I'm sorry, I'm just stuck on 25-year-old Adam.
20 years ago is
so much knees.
That's 31-year-old Budi.
Yeah. 25-year-old Adam had decided he was no longer an actor.
That was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Look at you go!
I was 23 when I graduated with a BFA in acting and decided I didn't want to act anymore. And I was directing at that point. But I hadn't fully committed to actually being a director yet. I was in that oogie period of going like, what do I want to do? Theater is it for sure, but like, what am I going to do? Yeah. I committed. I'm still here.
20 years ago, I had my studio in Brooklyn, and I had about 4 years in of doing training in Bali. And I created a space for all master teachers of New York to unpack and do work that they wanted to do outside of the institutional construct. And I had
and you're still doing it.
Yeah, coaching actors for Academy Awards.
There you go.
Still doing it. Yeah.
Tell the truth, y'all. Tell the truth. Okay, what's mine? Mine is my provocation is where you are is where you are. If you've done the work, do the work. If you haven't done the work, that's where you're at. You can't it's not magic. If you haven't done the work, then that's what it is. And if you've done the work, do the work. But don't show us you've done the work. Just do it. The work is the work. Don't suffer around the work. Don't suffer. The work is the work. Don't suffer around the work. Just do it. And then ask yourself, what I learned and what was working. Adam Marple, how we know that these people gonna be doing this? How we know they gonna do what they got to do what they did?
They're going to go to speakpipe.com/Theater of Others. Again, speakpipe.com/Theater of Others, theater with an R-E, Theater of Others, all one word. Leave a 90-second voice message on there. We'll be happy to play it on air. And if you want to go even further than 90 seconds and go into a full email, podcast@theaterofothers.com.
Sexy voice questioning.
That's right. We are also on and can be reached, even though we're supposed to be getting off of it tomorrow and the next day.
What are we getting off of?
Instagram, Facebook. We're
getting off of Instagram.
We're supposed to be banning it for 2 days. That's supposed to be what was happening. But
we're banning Instagram
for 2 days.
Facebook.
We're banning Meta for 2 days. That's what we're supposed to be.
Oh yeah, you should 100%. I deleted my Instagram.
Yeah.
So am I supposed to delete it?
No, just sign out of it and don't get on it. That or Facebook
for 2 days.
For couple days. Yeah.
I don't have Facebook, so
I know you don't. I know you do. We have a Facebook page on Facebook, but
okay. So no Instagram for 2 days. Does that start today?
That's From the 19th to the 21st is what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm off.
Well, what about WhatsApp?
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean?
WhatsApp is owned by Meta as well. I know.
I know. And that's how I communicate with the world.
I know. I'm not about to get onto Telegram because,
they've taken over the world. We've lost.
We've lost. Anyway,
that's why the aliens are coming. That's why the aliens are coming.
Anyway, you can go onto our website also.
Ooh.
But there's only one way you're going to know.
What's our website, Adam Marple?
Theaterbrothers.com, theaterbrothers.org. Theater Brothers with an R-E.
T-R-E.
That's right. But the only way you're going to know about these upcoming grad school interviews that we've got coming up is if they do what, Budi?
Subscribe. But why are you not subscribing? Come to your inbox week, y'all. Week. 5 years. 5 mofo years. You've had a podcast every single week.
Look at that.
Every single week. From when I began podcasting in my closet with a microphone to now where I have my Rode mic. Break. And then if you really like us, you can be like my Uber driver and give us 5 stars. Or my Gojek driver here in Indonesia. You give me 5 stars, I give you 5 stars. 5 star. It's a zero sum. We all win the game. We got to win this game. We are all in the game to win this game because there ain't no winner, ain't no loser, and the game is done. And if you really like us, you can leave us a message. It's plain and simple. You go, oh my goodness, Yao was on the podcast? And I can only give 5 stars and I want to give 5.1 stars? Leave a comment. I want to give 5.1 stars, but I don't have the option currently. So I want to give you 5.1 stars because you had this wonderful guest, Yao, on your podcast talking about grad school. And then it goes right into the algorithm for the aliens and for everyone. Can I push it? Okay. And we go from the top 5 podcasts with the percentage of the podcasts of the world to the top 1% podcasts of the world. And you know who's going to come when we're the top 1%?
Mariah Carey.
No. Oprah. Because Oprah loves the number ones.
Oprah.
Oprah loves it. Hey, by the way, y'all, you see Oprah has just released okay, this is great. And I knew exactly what book it was going to be. Let's see if you know what book it's going to be. She re-released a Book of the Month Club for a second time. What book is it, Yao?
Eat, Pray, Love.
No. Adam.
Is it one of the books that you proposed to be part of our book club?
No, but I should.
Okay. Then I don't know.
A New Earth.
Wow.
Because the planet needs it.
Holy
this generation
moly.
of people. It was 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago when she released A New Earth.
Right there.
20 years. Y'all, use your powers for good.
I gotta read
using
it
your powers for good. I'm gonna read it again. Hello, Adam. We did actually, Adam. We did say that we were going to release our book for book club.
Yeah.
I think that let's do that one, Adam.
No, but that's not the theme this time around.
So, well, we got a book that we're gonna. Are we releasing it now?
No, we haven't agreed on it yet. No, but
okay.
Soon.
And so, when Oprah comes, you know who's coming after Oprah? Beyonce. And you know who follows Beyonce? Who's Beyonce's number one fan?
Michelle Obama.
Yeah, Michelle Obama. Yeah. And because now she's free, you know who's coming.
Starting tomorrow, she's free. It's true.
Starting tomorrow, she's free. She's got time. Mamala. Mama's gonna come on. Mamala, we got you. Mamala, 2028, we got you, girl. Come on the podcast. We will help push the next campaign. Mamala, Mamala, Mamala. I love you, Yam. Thanks for coming and talking about grad school with us.
I love you guys.
You, man.
I love you, Adam.
Love you too.
And for the rest of y'all, we'll be in your inbox next week. Bye!
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater Brothers creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and time. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.